Welcome to Tech and Trek, exploring the past powered by the future. In a digital world built on extracting your data, draining your wallet, and demanding your attention, there is one anomaly. It doesn't want your email. It doesn't want your credit card. It doesn't even want to know who you are. It just does one thing. It plays. This is the story of the Little Orange Cone, the software that rejected tens of millions of dollars, fought the biggest tech giants in the world, and conquered the planet without spending a single rupee on marketing. The software that won by refusing to play the game. The year is 1996. In Silicon Valley, the dot-com bubble is inflating with dizzying speed, promising a new digital frontier. For most people, the internet is a place of screeching dial-up modems and text-heavy websites that take minutes to load. Video is a distant dream. But across the Atlantic at the prestigious École Centrale Paris, a group of engineering students isn't just dreaming of the future, they're trying to build a piece of it. And they've run into a very specific, very nerdy problem. The campus boasted a state-of-the-art network, but it was a token ring system. Think of it as a polite but slow conversation. A single digital token is passed around the network, and only the computer holding it is allowed to speak or transmit data. It was reliable, but completely unsuited for the chaotic, high-volume data flood required for video. Their ambition was simple: stream movies and play network-heavy games like Duke Nukem 3D across the entire campus. The problem was twofold. First, the computers of the mid-90s, even high-end ones, struggled to decode compressed video in real time. It was a monumental task for the processors of the era. Second, even if they could decode it, a single video stream would saturate the network, bringing it to a grinding halt for everyone else. So, they started a project. Videolan. This wasn't a startup chasing venture capital. It was a student hack, born from a desire to make something impossible, possible. Their solution was an ingenious client-server architecture. Instead of every student pulling a separate video stream from the server and choking the network, they designed a system that could multicast. A single, highly compressed video stream would be sent out from a powerful central server. The network itself would then duplicate that stream for every client that requested it. This meant you could have one person or 100 people watching, and it would use the exact same amount of network bandwidth. It was a brilliant workaround that pushed the processing limits of the era. And the logo? That iconic orange traffic cone? It's a perfect symbol of the project's grassroots, slightly rebellious origins. Legend says that after a particularly festive night out, some members of the student association returned to campus with a traffic cone they'd liberated from a nearby street. It became an inside joke, a mascot for their late-night coding sessions. When the Videolan project needed an icon, the cone was right there. It was quirky, unofficial, and a little bit disruptive. It stuck. By 2001, the project is rewritten from scratch. The student team, now graduated and scattered, faced a critical choice. Let their creation fade away or give it a new life. They made a radical decision, one that would echo through the digital world for decades. They released it under the GPL, the General Public License. To understand why this was so profound, you need to know that not all open source licenses are created equal. Many are permissive, meaning anyone can take the code, modify it, and even make it proprietary, locking it away inside their own commercial products. But the GPL is different. It's a copyleft license. It's a viral contract of freedom. It dictates that if you use this code, any new work you create with it must be open and free. You can't just take, you are legally bound to give back. This is the moment VLC becomes immortal. By making it open source under the GPL, they didn't just give it to the world, they ensured it would belong to the world, and the world embraced it. As VLC's popularity exploded, reaching millions, then hundreds of millions of users, the sharks began to circle. In the boardrooms of Silicon Valley and beyond, executives weren't just seeing a useful piece of software. They saw a distribution channel, a direct line into the computers of a staggering number of people. Venture capitalists, tech giants, ad networks. They all saw the same thing, a user base of 300 crore people, 3 billion. An audience larger than any single social media platform, delivered without the cost of building one. The offers started pouring in. They were subtle at first, proposals for partnerships and integrations. Then they became more direct. Jean-Baptiste Kempf, the lead developer and president of the Videoland nonprofit, became the guardian of the project's soul. He was offered tens of millions of euros. The proposals were always framed as simple, harmless additions. All he had to do was add a small toolbar to the installer, just a few ads in the interface, maybe some light anonymous user tracking to improve the product. It was the standard playbook for monetizing free software. But to Kempf and the team, it was a betrayal of the core principle they had just fought to protect.
I drive a Peugeot. It works fine. Why do I need a Ferrari if it means selling my soul?
They said no to all of it, unanimously. It wasn't just about the money, it was a philosophical stand. In an age where user data is the new oil, where every click is monitored and every preference is sold, VLC chose to be a public park, a digital commons, built and maintained for the public good, free for everyone, owned by no one, and fiercely protective of the one thing we so often give away for free, our privacy. But philosophy doesn't get downloads. Utility does. Why did VLC win? Because everything else sucked. While other players relied on the operating system to decode video, VLC carried its own codecs. It was a self-contained survival kit. It didn't care if your file was corrupted, incomplete, or pirated. If it had data, VLC would play it. It became the Plan B that became Plan A. It was ugly. It was utilitarian, and it was perfect. But being a rebel has consequences. As the 2000s gave way to a new decade, the mobile revolution exploded, led by Apple's iPhone and its curated App Store. This wasn't the open frontier of the desktop PC. It was a walled garden, meticulously controlled. For VLC, a tool built on the very principle of openness, this new ecosystem presented both an immense opportunity and a fundamental challenge. Getting onto the world's most popular phone was essential to serving their users. But could they do it without sacrificing their soul? The conflict was inevitable. Apple's App Store rules enforced digital rights management, or DRM, a technology that restricts how users can play their media. This directly violated the core tenets of VLC's open-source license, the GPL, which guarantees users the freedom to use, modify, and share software without restriction. It was a clash of philosophies. For a brief period, a version of VLC made it onto the store, only to be pulled after a developer, citing the license incompatibility, filed a complaint. For years, the world's most popular media player was effectively illegal on the world's most popular phone. And then, years later, a stranger enemy emerged from an unexpected direction. In early 2022, users in India, one of VLC's largest and most passionate markets, with tens of millions of downloads, woke up to find the official Videoland website completely blocked. There was no warning, no official explanation. Just a digital wall where a trusted tool used to be. The silence from the authorities was deafening, leaving millions of users and the Videoland team in a state of confusion and disbelief. The truth, when it finally surfaced, was a case of mistaken identity on a national scale. A security firm had flagged a malicious piece of software used by state-sponsored hackers that was disguised to look like VLC. In a sweeping, heavy-handed response, the Indian government didn't just target the threat. They banned the official legitimate VLC website too. Most companies facing a bureaucratic giant would hire expensive lobbyists. But VLC wasn't most companies. It didn't have the money. Instead, it leveraged its greatest asset, its community. Bolstered by public outcry and armed with pure, stubborn logic, the non-profit threatened legal action, not for profit, but on principle. After a grueling 9-month battle fought in the court of public opinion and through formal legal channels, the ban was finally lifted. Once again, the small team of idealists had faced a Goliath, and through sheer persistence, they had won. Today, VLC has been downloaded over 5 billion times. It is maintained by a non-profit organization, Videolan. There are no shareholders to please. There is no growth target to hit. In a timeline where the internet has become a shopping mall, VLC remains a library. It is a reminder of what the web was supposed to be: a tool, a connection, a gift. They could have been billionaires. Instead, they became legends,